Lovely people. I was thinking about how I built my original TikTok platform, talking about how I fucked up my marriage, talking about relationships, what I'd learned from my marriage, but then what I was learning as I dove back into the dating world about 2 years after my divorce, and then being in a new relationship now for roughly 2 years, in a committed romantic relationship. And I'm thinking about getting back to those talking points. If you want, let me know in the comments. But I did want to convey this, even if I'd never talk about this again. The most important lesson I've learned in terms of a successful romantic relationship, successful to date, I'm not complacent about this, is presence. There's a ton of this red pill bullshit, the Harrison Butker, J.D. Vance start, that's related to the whole trad wife thing and all of that. And I'm not against women choosing to be what we now call traditional wives, if they want, as long as that's their free choice. I'm never going to interfere with that. But what I'm saying is this whole divide between men and women based on this kind of ideology, this myth of the man's role, the woman's role, and in particular the man's duty or role, responsibility to provide and protect. We can talk about that. There's nuance to it. I'm not simply dismissing it as an idea, because there's a discussion to be had here. But much more important than all of that, the most important thing I've learned in terms of being in a thriving, growing, mutually nourishing relationship is presence. Presence is what I lacked in my marriage. If you dig down to the core of it, it was me living in my head sometime in the past or planning for the future and not being present to my wife at the time. Not just in terms of what she was saying or doing or asking me, but also more important in just what she was conveying by her body language, by her interaction, by noticing the bids for affection that she was making and that I wasn't picking up because I wasn't present, I wasn't there. For those of you who want to know what I mean by that, I mean being in the now, listening with a view to hearing and understanding, and not just listening with the ears, but observing, being there, being in love, asking yourself constantly, what is my partner saying to me in this circumstance, and what is the loving response? Because I do love her, and I want to make that response, rather than our kind of usual default is kind of what's in it for me, or I'm doing something else right now. And instead of conveying that and saying, hey, can we come back to this? I want to talk about this. What we tend to do as men, I think, is try and get rid of the problem, because we want to solve the problem. So we look at what she's telling us as a request for help rather than a request for connection. But when you're present to somebody, when you're in the now and not thinking about solutions to problems, and asking yourself, what does she really want now? And giving that to her rather than your typical default response as a man. And I'm not saying this is an easy thing to do. It takes practice. I still fuck up all the time in my relationship, but I submit to the correction because of my partner, because we have an open dialogue about these things. And if she believes I'm not present to what she's conveying, she tells me, hey, you're not here with me. And I'm learning to do the same, and I'm getting better at it, and she's getting better at it. We spend more time in each other's genuine presence than I have ever done in any previous relationship with anybody, never mind my ex-wife. So if there's one area of focus that I think accrues mostly to us men, it's be more present. Be better at understanding exactly what your partner is asking for, verbally, non-verbally, and all of these things. And then asking yourself, if I love this person and I want to convey that love, I want to do the best thing for her and therefore for us, what's the answer to the bid that she's making for my attention, for my presence? I hope that helps. If you want me to talk more about these things, let me know in the comments, because I've had a lot of thoughts about this, as you'd expect.